Hello, hello. What's up? What's up? It is a new day, it is a new week, and it's time to get social. My name is KaVonna, and welcome to the Introvert's Social Hour. Welcome. Today we are talking about the struggles of adulthood. I've brought two friends from college to talk about the ups and downs of life and adulting being hard. It's stressful out here. So, welcome, Crystal. I'm going to introduce everyone with fun facts. So, Crystal can play the guitar. And extra fun fact on top of that, Crystal can play Wonderwall, which apparently I was not aware is something that people say a lot. So that's good to know. And then we'll also welcome Neya. Neya, specifically from college, is one of my roommates that I had, specifically my second year. And Neya's fun fact is that she frequently makes outlandish plans and goes through with them, which is incredibly accurate because if there's one person I know who's spontaneous, it is Neya. So please welcome Crystal and Neya. Woo woo. Woo. Yeah. How are y'all doing today? How's adulting treating you in this day and age of time?
It's hard.
Yeah.
It keeps getting harder for some reason.
Why is that so accurate? Yeah, it does. That's unfortunate.
Unfortunately, we don't learn the things that we were supposed to learn.
Yeah.
Unlock the cheat code if you simply just go back to school.
Go back to school.
You can, set it back a couple of years.
Right. So this is a good thing to bring up of like eventually talking about it too, is like, yo, if I knew this information just like a few years earlier, this would have helped me out. Yeah. Oh, that is true. But I was just wondering that too, because I do think about like being an adult on a daily basis, and like just sometimes I'm like, wow, like I'm really out here doing the thing, and then sometimes I'm like, wow, unfortunately, I'm really out here doing the thing. It's like like literally, it's an up and down phase, and because it is such a up and down process, and I think it's something that's so relatable. I'm really excited to talk about it, because I also think because it's so relatable, like the people listening can relate to it as well. And I'm excited to also get like ideas from y'all, or maybe there's some things that I can get some pointer tips on, or vice versa. Because as y'all said, it is hard. So I am excited to talk about it. But to start the journey off, the question I always wondered was, do you remember or recall a specific time where you were like, I do feel like an adult? Like this made me feel like I have started my adult journey.
Hmm.
And I'll let you think about it for a second. Yeah, I'll let you think about it and I can tell you mine. So, which is interesting because I have two phases, because college is one, but college isn't like, in my eyes, it's not 100% like thrown into adulthood yet, but it was the time where I officially did like move out in parts, but I did pretty much like um I was on my own, kind of doing my own thing, like I had my jobs and stuff. I was paying for my own stuff. So that was one phase. And then the second phase was like post college. I was at home again. But then after that, officially moving to New York about a year and a half ago, that was when I really felt like, oh, I got rent, I got bills. I had my phone bill and things like that. But I was like, now I got like big girl bills. So that would be like my first adult experience, is like actually having like rent to pay. Because like I don't know, car notes and things like that, I never had a car note, but I bought my car just like regular used. But like the gas and like the registration and things like that, that's different than like rent. Like that is a paycheck that not even a paycheck, that is a bill that comes every single month, and it don't go away. So that's mine.
Yeah. I mean, along the same lines, I felt like I got my car when I was like, I'd say 18.
Mhm.
And it just like I never had to pay for the car insurance because it was always on my parents' bill and they would just pay it. And then
Yeah.
just recently when I moved to Connecticut, I had to get new car insurance because it's in a new state. And so I was like, oh, another bill to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Gross.
Wait, hold up. So it's double?
Double?
Wait, so when okay, so just double checking. So you moved to Connecticut, so you left the other car insurance, got a new car insurance because
Yeah.
of the state. So you can't, whatever car insurance it was specific to.
Like it
California.
wouldn't cover it if
Got
Yeah.
it. Okay.
because I'm in a different state now. I live in a different state, different address.
You've
Yeah.
got to do the whole switch. I did not know that because I
Yeah.
truly thought
Oh
like if
yeah.
I would have taken my car with me, I would have been like chilling, like same insurance and everything. That's intriguing.
It might be because we didn't have like a major company insurance. We just had
Mm,
like a local insurance, which is
got
probably
you.
why.
I had to switch my car insurance. I had Geico, and then I moved to Michigan,
Um,
and they said, "Well, if you're not living in California, you can't have the California insurance." And I was like, "Great, I'll get the Michigan one."
that's so
Oh, but it's still
ridiculous.
Geico?
It's still Geico. I just had to cancel my old policy and get a new policy. And I was
Oh, okay.
on the phone with the people for ages. I was like,
It's so
okay,
difficult. Yeah.
yeah,
You
there's
learn
like
something new every day. Wow, I didn't know that.
so
Yeah.
many hopes. I don't like it.
What about
Yeah.
you, Neya?
I think when I had to renew my driver's license when I was in San Diego, because
Mm,
I didn't go home for it, so I had to go to the DMV and then bring out all of these forms and fill them out and be like, yes, I live here. And then I changed my address to wherever I was living in San Diego, and I was like, great. Now, if something happens, they're gonna mail me things,
oh,
and I'm responsible for these bills. And
so
then, yeah,
so it was like for you, it was like I have an official like mail direction that's not my family home.
yeah. And then I moved here, and I was like, I don't want to do that. So now I mostly send all my mail to my parents.
But don't they
Still?
have hold up. Because if it goes there, don't they have to bounce it back over to you anyways?
Well, okay, it depends on what it is. So it's usually
Oh
if they
my
ask me for something and I like don't really care too much about it and I'm like unlikely that they'll ever mail me, I give them my parents' address. But if it's something important like the state, like registration, insurance, and all of that stuff is like important official things are my present address, but other like random crap, like, oh, subscribe to this service or whatever, that's my parents' address.
Ah, so you're doing them dirty and giving them all the
Yeah.
marketing mail.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You're just
My
filling
mom
your
called me
parents'
the other
mailbox with
day.
junk.
Yeah.
She was like, "You have like 20 letters here."
Oh my God. Neya.
She was like, "They're like, I don't. Do you need them?" And I was like, "No."
No. No, I
Like,
get that because most of my mail ends up being like random stuff from like random like people. Like sometimes they'll be like, "Hey, real estate agent here, interested in sell." I'm like, "What?" Like it's one of those things they just put in every single person's mailbox, and then like, Hello Fresh. I
Oh
get
yeah, I
Hello,
get those too. I don't need that.
not a sponsor, like, but yeah,
donate to one place once, and then they start mailing you things. That's the
Mhm.
worst.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Donated
never ending.
once. Stop sending me things.
Yeah. That's another thing I need to figure out on the adult list of how to get my mailing address unsubscribed to all these random marketing things.
Yeah.
Because like
Is that something you
sometimes
can do?
I feel like I've heard it at once upon a time and I never got the details, but I'm gonna find something. And if I find it, I will send it
Gotta
your
let
way.
us know.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, because it's like one of my like pet peeves of having my own place. Like well, when I go to the mailbox, usually like mail isn't really much of a thing anymore. So when I do go, I'm like, ooh, what I got in the mail. And I was like, okay, it's another marketing paper. Like, oh, okay, it's going in the trash. Like so much random stuff.
I
Yeah.
finally got my toll from New York when I came over. They
Hmm.
finally sent it to me. It's been like over 30 plus days. And then I got in the mail, it was like, pay $17 for using the toll bridge. And
That's
For
expensive.
oh wow.
I was like, okay, sure. And they were like, it's due. And by the time I'd gotten it, it was due in like a week or something. And I was like,
Mm.
great, here you go.
Speaking of that, let's move into that because I did want to talk about like the financial struggles of like adulthood. Because what the perfect example is like okay, why does this bridge toll cost so much? Another example is like food expense, especially now. I feel like we're also just like adults in a really weird era of time. And food has gone up. Um, I don't think we're technically in a recession, but it feels pretty darn close. So different things like that. Um, but I did want to talk about like what are some like financial struggles that even before adulthood or like in the midst of beginning adulthood for you that you foresaw or didn't see coming that kind of like came up for you as you became an adult. um so like for me, one thing was kind of in a sense of I would say like generally like I was aware of food costs, but just general cost of living was a little bit more intense. I was aware of it, but especially after COVID, things kind of spiked up again, which was kind of bananas. So that would be like one of my examples. What are some things that kind of like shook you, or you were prepared for it? Maybe you were prepared for it.
Something that I was very surprised by was like after like your lease ends, like let's say you get a 1 year lease on like an apartment, and then they send you like a renewal, like if you want to renew, but the price of the apartment, it's the same apartment that you've been
Yeah.
living in, but it costs like $100 to $200 more for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
It
But
just
you
didn't
know
make sense to me how they can do that
the weird
within one
part
year.
about that is that if you go on and you look for your same apartment, the rent would have gone up by like way more than like $200. They're
You
like,
think?
oh yeah, oh for sure, because we got it like once, and it was like, oh, you're having like a 50 or $100 increase, and then I was like, oh, how strange, and I went on the website and I was like, how much for a 2 bedroom 1 bath apartment, and it was like much more expensive than that, and I was like, oh, why are they doing this?
Yeah. It's pretty crazy that all of this just after a year, it's like $200 more.
I feel that. I'm lucky enough. I am super grateful to say like I have a reasonable like landlord, and so he's not because like my grandma has it way worse. Like her landlord goes up on the rent at least $100, like you said, like every single year. So the rent she had when she moved in is drastically different from what it is now, and she's been there for about over 10 years now.
Oh, geez.
But for me, like I don't have rent stabilization, which is something that I do hope for many of people. I think it should be a normalized thing. But he doesn't go up as frequently. So like I was lucky enough to be like, okay, he said a second year it'll be the same price as the first year. Third year it will go up. And it went up. It's gonna go up by 50, but that's on my third year of living there. So I'm like, thank you, thank
Yeah,
you so
Yeah.
much.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, but I agree with that because like another thing too is like when they require you to make a certain amount to like even apply. So
Okay,
it's like
what is that
what
about? Like 5 times the rent? How much money do
uh
you think I make?
exactly. But then like think about it this way. So they're raising the rent after a year. So you're just assuming my salary changed? Like you're just assuming my money's different?
Oh, yeah, I didn't
Like,
even think about that.
yeah, like, so do you think I still make 5 times rent now that you're going up on the rent? I don't even think they think about that, to be honest. But
Yeah.
I have a whole we could talk about that all day because I have so many things. For me, rent prices have irked my soul since high school. I remember writing a letter to our Senate representative. It was like a thing we had to do in high school for AP Gov, and I decided to do like rent stabilization, and we got to send it over. He never responded, but it's whatever.
I don't know
Dang.
that you read it. Come on.
I don't think he read it. Yeah.
Aw.
Oh no.
We'll write him a letter right now.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll sign our names.
What, New
Yeah.
York, California, or Connecticut?
Oh,
All of them.
all of
All of
them.
them.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I just sent it to the president.
Yeah. Like Biden, fix this.
Middleman.
Yeah. What
Oh.
about you, Dea? What is something that has come up for you financially that you were either surprised by or you were prepared for, but still kind of irks your soul?
Okay, so like other than like the regular ones about like rent or gas or food prices, this is kind of something weird that I like just noticed as you asked me this question. So, you know, when we're in college or in school, there's so many ways that you can be involved in the community and like do clubs and meet other people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's free,
Yeah.
right? Because you're going to school.
Yeah.
But as an adult, if you want to maintain, like, if you want to see people outside of work or whatever, you have to spend money. Like, not just like going out to eat, but also like, I don't know, if you really like biking and you want to join a bike club, costs money to like you have to pay them some like if
Yeah.
it's an established organization.
Mm-hmm.
Or like let's say you want to use the gym, you still got to pay the gym money,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
you know? I
That
mean,
I
yeah,
never
it's
thought of. Sorry, go ahead. I just kind of got shook
oh
when you
no.
said that.
No, no, no. I was just like I guess we technically paid those in terms of like rec fees in school and stuff, but it's not something that I like thought very hard about. And now I'm like
Mm-hmm.
every time I want to do something new, I'm like, ooh, how much am I gonna have to sink into this?
Mm-hmm. That is something I struggle with currently, like as a dancer in general. Like you can't like I gotta pay for dance classes.
Yeah.
It's a consistent thing. Um, and then like also just making sure I'm staying fit in other ways, like paying for, I do like bar classes or things like that. So how do I make sure I fit that in? I was just literally just thinking I should learn how to swim at some point. That's kind of important.
That's gonna
Those
cost
cost like
Yeah,
money.
you
two
gotta
hundred
swim.
dollars.
Oh my
Adult
God, why
swim
is it so
lessons.
expensive?
Want me to teach
Right.
you to swim?
What? That's
Right.
ridiculous.
$200. I was like, that's bananas. And then so I was like, well, it's like
We
I
can
the,
teach
guess
you how
I
to
will
swim.
drown.
so many people have told me that and they just be like I have a struggle. I've discovered my struggle is floating. Like I just
You gotta relax.
I know.
You
No.
can't let go, can you?
There's
I just be in the water like this.
You gotta let go.
there's too much water, you know.
It's just stop. Ah, I cannot with you. Too much water. Mm-mm-mm. But yes, I agree.
Have you
With those
considered taking
things.
a deep breath in?
Neya, you are fired. You're fired.
Whew.
um, but I never thought about like clubs and stuff. Like, that's true too. Oh, you know what though? I did look at a run club and you did have to pay for that. And it's literally just like to meet up with each other and go running once a week. I was just
Yeah,
like,
you're
Oh, you have to
seriously?
pay for
meeting up to
Right? Yeah. I was like, seriously?
the worst form of exercise, might I add. Running sucks.
I agree, but I was like, I think it'd be really good for my stamina. But I've been saying that for the past month, and have I ran yet? No. So, we'll see where we at with that.
Maybe walking.
Yeah, you
I
can
walk
walk.
I walk all the time, yeah.
Yeah,
But I
well,
Because
feel
you're in New York, you have to
yeah,
walk.
I have to walk,
baby
yeah.
girl.
So I'm used to the walking, but I was like, you know what, maybe should I take it a step further? But it's okay. At some point, maybe, and then I'll go back to. I used to run, and then
Damn.
I was like, but it wasn't like it was something just to like, let me just, get a little cardio in. And then in
Right.
high school, there was a point where I had to because I had to like get a 3 mile mark, 3 miles in 30 minutes. So like
I
it
can't
was
run.
to prepare me to hike in Yosemite. It was like for a program. So like if we didn't meet that mark, it was over.
It's over.
We got cut. No, literally, people didn't make the mark.
Oh,
They got
shoot.
cut and they weren't allowed to run. They weren't allowed to walk. If you started walking, cut.
Mhm.
Like it was that serious. Yeah.
Dude, I hiked in Yosemite and I cannot run a 10-minute mile. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, we had like bear canisters and stuff on our backs, and like it was intense. Like it was intense.
Oh, it's like Hobbit style.
Yeah. No, we were in the deeps of the woods.
Oh,
Like
damn.
we hiked far in to the point there was no other people. Like we had to. It was truly, yeah.
I
That'll be a
That's
story for another day. But yeah, it was super intense. Um, so in regards to that, so like we talk about like rent increases, the price of just like having recreational activities and doing things outside of work and like general like personal life. Uh how is it though, like how have y'all found ways to then manage your life financially? And then where do you feel you are succeeding and where do you feel like you need help and where do you need to learn? Yeah, let you think about it for a second.
I think I'm lucky in that I have a partner that's very financially smart and
Simo,
like
icon.
yeah, she's very good with finances, and I think I'm the one that struggles more because I like to spend like
Yes.
especially especially when we're buying like generic things like let's say Advil.
Mhm.
Like I would stick to like the name brand because that's just like what my parents didn't care. They would just buy
Yeah.
the name brand and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then Seema started introducing me to like, oh, there's this same exact thing, but way cheaper, and
Mhm.
it just doesn't have this brand name. And so I was like, oh, okay, so that's like a good way to like help save more money
Yeah.
is get like the generic brand. It's like the same thing, just and it's cheaper.
Yes. Shout out to C. I could totally.
Yeah.
It's a funny thing. I could see Seema just be like, "What are you doing?"
Oh yeah, she'll be like, "What are you doing?"
How did
Yeah.
you get that?
Yeah.
Like when I go shopping by myself, I come home, she'll be like, "What is this?
Mhm.
You should not have bought this. We could have gotten the same thing, just cheaper, way cheaper." And I'm like, "I know, I should have paid more attention. I'm
Yeah.
sorry."
It's taking you away from me.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious. What about you,
Seema's a
Neya?
hero.
Yeah, Seema really is. It's so for the listener, Seema is not on here, but she is present.
She's
So
present in the room.
yeah. So what
Um,
about you, Neya?
well, it really helped that when I was a working adult, it was, well, I was doing my master's, so one, I didn't have any free time, as Crystal and Seema can attest to,
Yep.
and then I had a job, and it was during COVID, so once
Mm-hmm.
again, I didn't have much to spend on because there was nothing to spend on, really. And there wasn't a lot of like ways to eat out or whatever. So, circumstances really helped me out there.
Yeah.
But also my parents don't believe in name brand stuff either. Except for milk. I don't know. They got a thing with that A2 milk.
Okay. I was not expecting milk to be the thing to stay on brand.
I
Because
don't
there's so many
know.
brands of milk. That's funny. Okay.
No, it's just like this A2 like free range cows, not hormone. I don't know.
You can taste the free range.
Yeah. It's like, okay, do what you want, mom. But
Okay.
that helps.
Okay. I for me, so I used to be so this has been the struggle of my like shift of adulting. In college I was saving. I was like I wasn't spending that much. I played the cards smart. And then now that I have like it's the shift started like after graduating college, to be honest, of like, well, if I want it, I should get it. Because it used to be like, do I need it? No, so I'm not gonna get it. But now it's like, well, if I want it, then I should get it. So that's been my issue. My current issue right now is eating out, which once again, it's also been just a general struggle of like living in New York City. So there's just like food everywhere.
Why is that
And
food at midnight? It's amazing.
yeah. Yeah. So like, yeah,
Anytime, anywhere.
anytime,
Oh
anywhere.
yeah.
So I've been, and especially when you get like lazy, you don't want to cook, and we'll talk about like the timing and how to handle your days as an adult as well. But yeah, that's been my biggest issue of spending as of late, which has been also kind of annoying because I'm like, you have food at home. And I'm like, but I have to cook the food at home. And I don't want to cook the food. So that's where I'm at. Um,
Yeah,
and
it's a
it's a work in
struggle
progress.
sometimes when you're like grocery shopping. You're
Mhm.
buying food to make, but
Mhm.
you're already out. So I'm like, I might as well just get something, some takeout too, while I'm out.
Yes. We need to like title that something, the post grocery shop run eat outs.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
So, have you
because that's
noticed
so true.
if you go grocery shopping when you're hungry and the crap that you bring
Oh,
home,
you buy everything.
Hmm.
I just,
Hmm.
yeah, sometimes I go grocery shopping when I'm hungry and I get hit with a $50 bill and I'm like, what did I buy? It's just a whole bunch of chocolate.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like nothing that I can actually eat. And I'm
Ye-
like, great.
You
Yeah,
gotta go
don't.
get takeout.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there
I was
you
like,
go.
I guess I will get takeout.
defeated the whole purpose of you going to the grocery store in the first place, which is so funny.
Yeah.
Cool. And then I also want to talk about I guess this is something because I know Neya, you're in school. Oh, Mike and I. So we just got shown some Mike and Ikes from Neya's grocery shop run. They're very colorful. What?
Mega mix.
Mega mix. Okay.
So does that mean it's not just Mike Ikes? It's like other shapes.
It is Mike Ike.
What's the mega? Is it just because it's a big box?
It's got 10 flavors in here.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay.
That all taste the same.
Okay.
I actually disagree with that.
Okay.
Yeah, if you do individually eat one, they do taste different.
Okay.
But who's out there really doing that? For me, I just like did it once to actually see if they did taste different, and they do.
Wait, do you not eat them individually?
I don't.
How many do you pop in your mouth? I just need to know. Like what
20.
is 20?
Whatever can fit a handful.
Yeah. Was that like?
I say maybe like 10.
You could fit 20
like comfortably, maybe, but I don't think you'd eat 20 comfortably.
All right.
Yeah, it might be like intense, like jaw work.
Jaw.
Yeah. But bring it back to topic real quick. I was gonna talk about like what we also see as far as like, so we have like this, we go to college for like this like long run goal. They say go to college, you have a good chance at these like opportunities and these like job salaries and things like that. Have you found like success in that, in a sense of like your experience and your education equating to like what the job market is like today?
So I graduated in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
It's right in the middle of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was not great. And like I was having a hard time. I have like a chemical engineering degree,
Mm-hmm.
and I did have a lot of trouble finding a job during that time just because people didn't know the status of their company going forward with COVID and things like that. And so no one really wanted to hire, especially people with like higher salary degrees.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to settle for a job that was probably half the salary I was expecting when graduating. And so, yeah, that was my experience after graduating. It wasn't that great. Like it like helped pay the bills and everything. Like I had a job, which was nice. And like, but it wasn't what I was expecting at first.
Yeah, I feel that we all like, yeah, you graduated like a year early, but then you did go for your master's. But yeah, like we all kind of got hit with that like 2020 like job market like crisis. I feel the exact same way, which is exactly why I ended up moving back home, because it was just kind of like nothing's popping up, everything's so like unsure. And I was also kind of like, I didn't know, my current job is kind of like me like compromising as well in a sense, because for y'all who don't know, like I'm a teacher, so like, but the teacher pay is never the way it should be. So in a way I'm also compromising until the next thing comes along, for it to actually make sense and match, because I'm also kind of seeing like things not necessarily equating all the time the way it should. One of my biggest pet peeves is also like them asking for like college experience, but also like 3-4 years of experience and all of this stuff, and it's like the math is not mathing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was pretty lucky when I graduated in 2020, because I had reached out to professors before and I was like, oh, like, and they were like, sure, you can work with me after you graduate. But this was before COVID had happened. But I also graduated with a biology degree, which was pretty poppin' thanks to COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, there were jobs, but it's not like all of them were great jobs, you know? A lot of it was like COVID testing stuff. But I was able to get a job. It was cool. It was a good like first job out of college kind of experience. Did wish I got paid more.
Yeah.
And then I quit, and then I got a second job. And that was also interesting because I wish I had talked to people and figured out how much I was supposed to be getting paid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like
It's hard to
negotiating
know.
salaries.
It is.
And I was like, oh, I guess I'll just go for the first level because it's my first, like, I didn't know it was a degree thing and not like a time in the company thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I now realize I could have probably negotiated a much higher salary if I wanted to, and I just didn't.
It's not something that's like intuitive to do or to know how
Yeah.
to negotiate your salary.
Yeah.
It's pretty difficult.
Yeah, I agree with that. It is because the likeliness, especially like with the fields that y'all are in, is not like super like crisp and like clear cut, I feel like. Because like if you're a teacher, you know, like there we have like an associate level, because I work for charter school, and then we have like, you know, lead teacher level. And that's pretty much it, you know. But then for all those other things, like who do you go to? Who do you talk to? How do I know what I'm supposed to have? And there's so many different titles and things like that. So I get that, because even for me, it was a bit hard. Like I got thrown in, and I was pretty aware of the fact that my job that I was told I had, I was doing more than I was supposed to be. So then I did have to come to that like thing of like, I need to figure out how to address this because I know that wherever I'm doing is next step than what I'm labeled as right now. Um, and whatever that increase is, I didn't know what that increase was, but I was like, I need to be getting paid what I am doing. I was like,
Yeah,
this ain't cool. But even then, I still don't feel like we get paid enough as teachers. But
of
at least I get
course.
paid for my title's worth, and
Yeah.
it matches to what it's supposed to be for the school.
That's a start, you know?
Tomatoes, because and the reason I say that
Tomatoes
is,
boo boo boo, or is
yeah,
it
boo
tomatoes
boo boo
tomatoes?
tomatoes.
Okay.
Tomatoes. I'm throwing the tomatoes. Because I say this because I think that's why it's lasted so long, is because it's like, well, you know, like you have a job, you know, you're getting paid, and it's like, but it should be equated, right? So then um for example, I don't even know like a good example of like something that here's what I think of. So for example, like if you're an office worker, I think they low key like value you a little bit more because you work in like an office. And I say this in like a school setting versus like you're a teacher, you're in front of the kids all day. I make my own lesson plans. I sometimes have to do the work at home. I communicate with parents. I do all that stuff. I'm kind of like a multi person, but other people who teach other subjects have it a little bit more difficult than me. And so, but we're like, we kind of are expected to do like full round, and like office does get paid more than us. And so I find that kind of interesting. I feel like it should be a bit equal, or if not more, because we kind of do a little bit of everything. But that's just something to like eventually, like it's interesting to see like where the value is. As you go up higher in the field, like once you become a principal, you get paid more. But in my personal opinion, I don't think principals do as much. So you know, and we see this even like corporate world too. Like the higher you go, you're in charge of making decisions, but do you do a lot of the work? More than likely not, but you get paid more for being the decision maker and having like a higher title. But that's just like my personal take on that, which
I
is
think
another
that's the
thing.
case like in many companies is that
Mhm.
people higher up get paid more. I doubt they do more work, but they do definitely have to make big decisions. But
Mhm.
But I guess
yeah,
it's also like they have a bigger responsibility. So are they
Mhm.
getting, or like, you know, something goes wrong, they're gonna probably fire the higher up rather than
Mhm.
worker.
yeah,
Because you
that's
were
true.
just like following instructions, but
Mhm.
they are like, let's go.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Like a perfect, I guess a good example would be like when Southwest like messed up over the holiday season.
Yeah.
Come on. It's like, what did you do?
They're not like firing the flight attendants or the pilots. They're like firing the people who made
Mhm.
that decision.
Mhm.
So I guess you're getting paid. I don't know. It's like,
But that's like on a bigger operational scale too, as well, when you think
right?
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
But within that, like the career world as well, like, do you feel like accessibility as wherever your career goals are and your like dreams are as far as like what you want to do you feel like in the space that we in as adults it seems achievable or accessible with the way the the economic world is right now? I would say like yeah, economic world. Do you see it being achievable? Crystal shaking her head.
I feel like it's hard to see like more growth right now, only because I feel like things are more expensive, people are spending less, people are hiring less because business is slowing down, things like that. So I feel like it might be achievable, but maybe it'll take longer than what I would think it, or I thought it would, at least.
Yeah, I see that. What about you, Neya?
Well, I'm in school. So I guess hello listeners.
You're late, ma'am.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
I just want to let them know that I'm in med school. So like, that's something you should know about me because I cannot speak to, I don't know. I have no clue how this is going to affect me. All I know is that I'm going to be in debt for a long time and that I will be working really hard for a long time before I see any like I don't know. I think residents should be paid more. Like, what do you mean they get paid $50,000 to $60,000 and they're working like 6 days a week and pretty much have a full load for like at least 3 years. That's like the minimum period you go. And then depending on your specialty, and then maybe after that you get paid more money as an attending. But if you specialize, you're once again like taking a cut to your salary, I think, right? Like you're not in the same field and going higher up. You're like trying to specialize and then starting again. And I'm assuming maybe then you'll make more money, but like that's like 8+ years down the line at this point. So I don't know. I mean, all I know is that I'll be making enough money to feed myself and hopefully pay rent, right? Like when I graduate, hopefully I'll make enough money to live in the place where I have to work.
Yeah. So wait, we're not gonna get deep, but I noted that you said hopefully, right? So
Yeah.
like I want you like I just like to dig into your brain deeper. I'm just curious, like, how does that make you feel then? Like, so you said like it, which I'm surprised with the salary of as anyone who's dealing in the medical field. I'm like 50 to 60. That's a little bananas. Like they're kind of
That's
like
how much I
changing
made
lives.
out of college. Like you should maybe pay them more.
Yeah. But how does it make you feel that you have a long journey to go, and then even when that long journey happens, it may take you a minute to see the reward of your work, kind of.
Oh, I mean, it's fine. I knew what I was getting into, right? Like I took like 3-ish years before I started med school.
Yeah.
And that was only after I like was like, all right, this is really what I want to do, regardless of, the pay and the hours, because I want to be around really sick people and hopefully help them out. So it's fine. I'm not like, 50 to 60K, that's that's like a decent chunk of money. Like I can live on that money. Will I be able to start a family on that money? Maybe. I don't probably not. That'd be harder.
You might need a
I mean,
second salary
yeah.
going in there. Yeah.
My partner better be making more money, but but
Okay.
like it's not bad.
Okay.
It'll be okay.
Yeah, you'll be
Yeah,
okay.
you'll be okay. Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Thank you. I just wanted to pick your brain about that because as someone who considered like the route of at the time when we were like roommates, I remember I was still thinking like I was gonna do neuropsychology. So I was gonna have to like go to do the whole shebang as well. And then and I was like, nah. So I do get curious, like for people who take the medical school route, and I also like commend you for that as well. So that's a big deal. Um Okay, moving on to the next topic that I did want to talk about is in like the adult world of things, relationships and social life.
Oh, it's so hard.
Already, yeah.
Yeah, Crystal, you got things to
Honestly,
share.
making friends as an adult is so hard because you don't have like people around you all the time
Mhm.
that you can just like find common ground with. It's usually you have to like physically go seek it out somewhere.
Mhm.
Somewhere. I don't even know where you would seek it out.
Some people like do like
You
bars.
sought it out, Crystal.
But I think it's also like my personality. It's like hard to just go up to people and be like, "Hey, what's up?"
That's exactly how you do it. Yeah.
I'm
That's
so
hilarious.
awkward.
I
If it
think
makes you
that's
feel
how we
better,
became
Crystal.
friends.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think we all have a level of like awkwardness. I'm definitely an introvert, so I don't do the hey, what's up? I'm just like, hi. And then I keep moving. Yeah. Uh, so I get that because that was the question I had is like, what has it been like for you making friends as an adult? I also agree that it's hard. I'll give you a little bit more on my perspective of because I'm an introvert. It's the introvert social hour. It is incredibly hard to put myself out there. Like home is just way more comfortable, you know, like
Oh yeah.
watching a movie at home or going outside and going into a social space. Like I do I'm also comfortable doing things on my own. So, you know, I don't really know, like, would I just go, hey, oh, we're both eating at this place right now. You want to chat? Like, what? That's so weird and random. So also the awkward aspect of like, I don't know how to go about that. I was at a digital art like exhibit last weekend. I'm just vibing by myself, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, hey, we're both here. Yeah, let's talk about this piece. Like, I don't know. So it is definitely hard. Some people could say, well, find your friends at work. Yes and no. Um,
Great idea.
yeah, yes and no. It just depends. Like I've hung out with some of my coworkers like after work for a slight period of time, but nothing ever like super extensive because it tends to be like proximity like friendship, like we're work friends. Um so yeah, I don't know. I have not made any new friends since graduating college and I too don't know how to go about those things. But yeah. What about you, Neya? I mean, I know you're still like in college, but I don't know. Have you had those struggles just as you've gotten older as well?
Yeah, it's so much harder to make friends. It's also like I'm in school, I see the same 80 people all the
Mm,
time, but I also don't have enough time to be like like to make friends, you need to do maybe a specific activity consistently with the
yeah.
same people.
Hmm.
But like to do that, need to have like a consistent time that you can do that. And I just find it really hard to have that. Like scheduling this podcast was hard, and KaVonna knows it. 'Cause I
Hmm.
cannot give you like I'm just
Yeah.
awful. I don't know. My schedule changes like every week. It's kind of strange. Um, so it's just like it's weird, but I also don't know what to do with people. Like, what do we talk about? And it's strange because the Midwest, everyone's so nice. Like people talk to you in the
Hmm.
grocery store. The first time that happened, I thought I was gonna get scammed or something.
Oh.
They
That's
started
hilarious.
talking to me for like 5 minutes, and I was terrified. This is after I'd moved from California. Like it's
Not
like
terrified.
the first weekend, and we were just talking, and I was like, "Why do they want to know so much about me?
Some
What does it matter?"
sometimes people just want to chat. I have an interesting experience of the same thing. I had also at the grocery store, but also I just feel like I tend usually when it happens, it's someone who's usually older, who just chatting it up with you. I feel
Mhm.
like sometimes too, I've talked to my grandma about this. Like some people just like maybe you don't know what their home life is like, so sometimes they just want to talk to you because maybe you're the first person they've talked to all day. Um, but yeah, I've definitely experienced that. They're the highlight because it happens rarely. But the last time that happened to me was about like 3 weeks ago. She was like telling like I like swear she was psychic because she like randomly asked me. She was like, "Are you a teacher?" And I was like, yeah. She was like, oh, okay, yeah, you gave me that vibe. I was like, okay. And
Like,
then
you
she guessed, she was like, you should be in like some like theater. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. Like, I'm a dancer. I was like, that's wild. I was like, that's why I was like, okay. She's like, you'll do great. I was like, we were just having a conversation. It was a good time, fun time. Talked to another lady about this past Wednesday. We were both seeing a show together, Grey House on Broadway. It's a horror play. And she was just chatting it up with me. I was like, no problem. We're both, you're here by yourself. I'm here by myself. But usually, like, I'm not going to be like, oh, hey, what's your number? Like, you know?
No, but
Yeah.
it's still weird, no? Like, I find it so strange because it happens to me a lot still.
Mhm.
Like, okay, people here chat a lot, and they're very friendly, which I appreciate. It's not like, I don't know, in California, I like rarely had a conversation with a stranger for no good reason.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
And now I like just end up in conversations with people for like 20 or 30 minutes, and I'm like, this is so strange. I like don't know what to do. Because one, I don't really like sharing a lot of information about myself,
mhm,
and I don't want to be perceived by these people, but I have to because they're so friendly. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm stuck there for 20 minutes, and I'm like, oh. But
mhm.
I'm learning to vibe with it, you know?
Okay. You never
Now
know. Maybe.
now I chat people up too. It's
Oh,
Okay.
shoot, Neya.
All right.
like, yeah, how's your day?
Yeah. Goes to the grocery store, sees him holding a box of Mike and Ike's. Oh, I got the same box too. Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's like,
would recommend that one.
would recommend. You know, it has 10 flavors. Like,
That's why it's called a Mega Mix.
yeah. So now you have something to talk about.
And they're not like Skittles. Skittles
Oh
aren't.
my God. Oh
But
man.
yeah, so I mean, you could end up, it could become something like I've never had 20, 30-minute conversations with random people, but it could be the case where you're like, oh, hey, like,
Have you
want to
considered
hang
moving
out?
here, KaVonna? You could have 20 to 30-minute conversations with people
No.
as much as you would like.
So here's the thing, Neya. I have a magic way of ending conversations if they do not benefit me.
Oh, what?
How do you do it?
How do you do it?
So they are normally at the grocery store for you
They're just everywhere. It just happens in the
Everywhere.
because it really
elevator,
just depends on like
waiting for
location.
just keep talking. And I'm like, oh, the elevator's all right because I like I
Oh,
gotta
oh yeah. I was like, you can escape an elevator.
sometimes it's in the
Grocery stores
line and I'm like,
usually if it's like if you're not in line yet and like they're stopping you and they're like, oh yeah, that's a great brand of pasta, like uh, I'd be like, oh yeah, really, yeah, super good, da 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 da. I've seen that happen with my mom where this random guy like came up to her, start talking, I was like, oh cool, yeah, thank you, I'll try it out, and then walk away. Like,
Bye.
yeah, like find a way to exit. But there are people who do find
me.
a way to continuously talk without taking a breath. I've seen that happen as well, and it amazes me. But usually that's the case of, oh cool, thank you, like have a great day. When the lady talked to me, we were in line at the grocery store, so I was ahead of her as well. So like it was a good conversation. It was great, nothing bad. But I was able to be like, oh, cool. She was like, oh, and even when I was paying, she was like, oh, you should get a rewards card. And I was like, oh yeah, not today, And I was like, okay, cool. Have a great day. Nice speaking to you. Walks away, politely ends the
I'm
conversation.
mostly concerned for people who talk to me, and it's not only am I the first person they've talked to all day,
Mhm.
they're also the first person I've talked to all day, and then a
Um,
lot of weird stuff just comes out.
oh no.
I'm just like,
Oh,
why did I say that? Like, I have to go now.
And then you don't see them again. So then it works.
yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. But bringing it back though, like, so that is a way that you could potentially find friends of random conversations.
Maybe not.
I was like, maybe not,
I'm
depends on the
lazy.
person. Some people find friendship through work. Some people find friends through friends, but also too for me, and then also us, we've moved away from like the place that we found a lot of our friends. So like that friends of friends situation also kind of like gets out of the box as an option.
Yeah.
So it is just kind of like difficult. But in regards to like relationships that you already do have, um, do y'all feel that you have enough like time in your life to be able to properly balance like your roles in your life, like with your job, or with your partner, or with whatever like friends that you do like plan to see on a weekly basis. um and if you do feel like that, like why do you feel like you have enough time, or if not, where do you feel like that time is like getting pulled away from you?
Popcorn crystal.
So
What popcorn? Um, I just always feel like there's not enough time in the day, honestly.
Mhm.
Like I work probably 8 to like 5. My commute is like half hour, so that's an hour of driving every
Mhm.
day. And like when I come home, I go to the gym for like an hour because I had like
You know?
a health thing that I felt like I needed to get into shape. So now I have to go to the gym every
Okay.
day for like an hour. So that's like 10, 11 hours of my day just
Already.
work and going to the gym and driving home and to
Mhm.
work. And then like the little time I have before I fall asleep on the couch or something is just like either spending with the cats or with my partner,
Mhm.
whatever we can squeeze in to spend time together. And like it's kind of difficult because like we want to like go outside, but
Mhm.
in Connecticut everything closes so early. They close at like 8 or 9. So there's not really
Mm.
much to do outside, which is kind of difficult. Or like if we want to take a walk, it's kind of close to getting dark, things like that. So it's like
Mhm.
it is definitely tough to balance working and like having a social life.
Okay. Out of curiosity, have you found anything that kind of helps? Because like at least like what I noted was like you're able to pull in like fitness into your day, which I think is really cool because that's something that for some people tends to slip. Like I know like sometimes if I'm like really tired, that might be the first thing that goes.
Yeah.
So like what have you found that kind of like helps you? It's hard to keep a balance, but to keep a as best of a balance as possible. Like do you prioritize things or
Definitely prioritize things like do we want to spend time? Well, another thing is like cooking. Cooking takes a lot of time. I
yeah.
don't cook, my partner cooks, but it does
Mhm.
take time away from like us spending time together or something.
Mhm.
So maybe instead of having her cook, we go get a meal outside.
Okay.
So that's like something like you
Mhm.
you knock out like two things like spending time cooking and just spending time together.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
I miss Yuma's meals.
Oh yeah.
I also miss
They're the
your
best.
the little sausages. What are they called? Little doggies.
Little smokies.
So cute.
Neya.
What about you, Naya? What's your balance looking like?
Honestly, pretty great. Just kidding.
I
Oh
was about
wow.
to I was about to be
I was like,
so
whoa.
surprised. I think we both had a shocked face, Crystal, like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Well, I go to school like
Wow.
for a variable amount of time.
Mm.
But I do have like days like I have Tuesday nights are always free because I always hang out with my friends and we do something fun. So it's
Mhm.
like the five of us kind of like we're like, okay, Tuesday nights is our off night. We don't study, we just do something fun, like watch a movie,
I
cook
like
together,
that.
some good food, just chill.
Mhm.
And that's worked out really well because it's helped me like not be super stressed out
Mhm.
because it's like a forced relaxation time.
Yeah,
That's a
I
good
like that.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like scheduling your
Free
time.
time.
Yeah, free time specifically. I like that.
Yeah, and it's really helpful for me because I'm not I either take too many breaks or I don't take enough breaks. And I feel like a lot of my friends are like that too. Like, I don't know, like med students just don't know when to quit, you know? So it's that playing into that stereotype. But also like I try to make like it's so nice outside. And after living through my first winter, I have decided if I can be outside, I will be outside.
Mhm.
So like try to build time to like go swimming and bike.
Okay. I like that. Um, First of all, that's really good of like scheduling time, and that kind of rolls into the next topic of like mental health and self-care in regards to also like having time. Um, in your life to like take care of yourself. So like in regards to balance, like are there things that specifically for you, not necessarily in regards to like your relationships and your social life, but where you specifically save time to like take care of yourself, or more specifically like what do you do in order to provide like self-care to help you keep also that mental balance with the struggles of the ups and downs um of life, because I think that's super important from a mental health standpoint as a psychology girl myself. But I can give you one for me is one, I journal on occasion. I need to be a little bit more frequent about that. Um, two, dancing does really like who, or like exercise just who. Um, I think what was something so regular for me was the minute any form of inconvenience or struggle of a day happened, I pulled that out of my day. And in reality, I should be keeping it in because that helps like balance out those like rough days. But what about y'all?
I think I mentioned earlier, like I go to the gym.
Mhm.
That is definitely something that kind of I used to decompress from like work day for
Okay.
sure. It's a nice release.
Mhm.
But also like during my commute, I like to listen to music.
Mhm.
Music is a big thing for me. It helps me de-stress a lot just listening to music that I love. And like honestly, like especially since I'm by myself in my car, I'm just like screaming out the lyrics of certain things that are resonating with me at that time.
Mood, yeah.
So that's definitely like a nice cathartic thing to do for me.
Mhm.
I love this new gym bro development of your
I'm a
like
gym bro now. Yeah.
do you even lift.
Do you even lift, Neya?
No, actually I don't.
Oh man.
I tried and then I hurt myself, so
Okay, so lifting is out of Neya's self-care. What,
Oh man.
what
actually detrimental.
so what do you do instead of lifting, Neya?
Um, yeah, I like I swim. I try to make it a point to go swimming.
Nice.
Um, makes me happy.
So fun
Nice.
fact, because you just brought this up for listeners, Neya would literally get up at like what, 5, 6, whenever
Yeah.
the pool opened in the morning and get up to go swim. Like I was still very much in bed, sleep.
Damn.
So I still do that, except now I have to wake up at like 4:30 to go swim at 5,
Oh,
Oh
which
my
that's
God.
disgusting.
honestly is not super sustainable because then I have to go to school and be awake till 5.
Oh.
Mm,
I'm still on my no caffeine situation. I've been
okay.
working. I can tolerate some caffeine now.
Okay.
Working out for me. But I don't know, mostly I just listen to my brain really tells me when it doesn't want to study anymore, and I'm like, all right, yeah, 5 hours of studying in today. That's all I'm gonna do. And I can just
Yeah.
I got a Switch. Did I tell you guys that I got a Switch?
Nintendo Switch.
No.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
I got a Switch just to play Pokemon on it.
Okay.
Pokemon. Which
So
Pokemon are you playing?
Um, what's it called? Brilliant Diamond.
Oh, okay.
unknown. So then we got swimming, music. I think music's always a good go-to, and then Switch, Pokemon. Um, Fun fact, I had a 3DS and I did Animal Crossing during like 2020. I literally bought it while I was in quarantine. I was like, we're gonna do this. And
Yeah,
then
it's my first gaming system.
oh, see, hey, that's a good one. They really did their thing with the Switch, to be honest. Like that would be my one not necessary purchase I would get. But the thing is, I don't use it all the time because I like, once again, going back to priorities and balance. Like for me, that's not in my like high like like self-care. Like there's other things that I prioritize first. Um, but yeah, the Switch
Sometimes
is a
you
good
just
one.
want to be a Pokemon trainer, walk through the city,
Every
meet
day.
some dudes, you know?
Hmm. Those are
And
your
then
friends that you have yet to meet.
beat them up in Pokemon battles,
Hmm.
get some money.
Perfect.
So would y'all say like those examples are also like your form, those are like, so say if you had a rough day, are those also your forms of like coping mechanisms that you use just in general? Okay, Cool.
For sure, music. I
I
always
also-
turn to music, man.
Same. Music, I think music is my first go-to.
Yeah.
Like for me also too, I'm huge on like sensory things and stuff like that. So a way to like sit in quiet is always a really good best way to like recenter myself. And then I also go to journaling sometimes if it's like if I'm really in a bad headspace. Just to figure out what it is and why it is and et cetera, et cetera.
I usually talk to friends because I'm not very good at dealing with my emotions by myself. And I always
It's
want to get
rough.
like a perspective. I was like, sometimes I'm like, am I overreacting to this thing? Or is this like a normal reaction? Like, is
Mhm.
this reaction appropriate and should I correct?
Okay.
And I don't know, sometimes it's like it's a lot and you can't really like I can't really tell my friends out here because these are the people that I have to see and work with professionally and maybe,
Mhm.
it's not an appropriate thing to share, but I can share it with my friends like you guys or like people that I went to college with or people I grew up with and I'm like, "So, what do
Yeah.
you think about this situation?"
Yeah. I like that idea because that's another option that I was going to talk about is like are there people that you who are your support systems like even when self-care is happening and we have our personal ways of like reflecting on things but who are your go-tos and I like the idea of like leaning on friends any kind of work issue I've ever had or like people getting on my nerves my mom is the first person I call I'll be like can you believe this like you know for sure and then she's probably like what happened but that's definitely like one way to because it's just important to vent sometimes but like Crystal do you have like people that you go to people that kind of like help support in those like challenging moments as well?
Do whisper to the cat sweetly at night.
Oh my
All
god.
day, every day. They are my support system. Well, for sure.
Yeah.
I think like they definitely provide comfort.
Mhm.
But my go-to person is definitely my partner,
Mhm.
Seema. Sec
Mhm.
Second shout out, Seema.
Yes,
And
Simo.
yeah, she's the person I go to when I have a bad day, when I'm having problems at work, having
Mhm.
problems with my parents or things like that.
Mhm.
Definitely Seema, she's the person I trust the most.
Mhm.
And I know I can count on her to say exactly what I need to hear to
Mhm.
get out of my head and focus on what I need to focus on. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's so cute. I love y'all.
You know when I have like an adult problem, like I don't know what you'd classify as an adult problem. You and Seymour are the first people that I text to ask about it.
We're your parents, pretty
Yeah,
much.
Yeah.
they actually are. I'm
I
like,
believe
Yeah.
that.
Whatever you need,
"Can
Neya.
someone fix it for me."
Oh, oh. That's sometimes, yay. Sometimes you be struggling with the adulting, and sometimes you gotta ask somebody else. Because, like we said at the beginning too, like sometimes, like there's information that we should have that we don't have, like that we just kind of like are left to figure out on our own. So that makes it really interesting. Like as you're getting older, you're like, oh wait, like taxes, huh? Okay, got to figure that out. Or insurance, all the different types of insurance and things like that. So it's so learn in progress versus like a work in progress. But I am a work in progress as well. But life is a learn in progress because no one we learn all these other things, but no one has the adulting 101 class.
Yeah,
So
we need that. They
we
should
do.
start doing that in school.
Mm-hmm.
Taxes should be number one.
For sure.
Like, why do we have to guess how much we owe them? Why can't they just tell us?
If you guess wrong, you go to jail.
Yeah, if you guess
Right.
wrong, you go to jail.
But if they mess up though, they're like, oopsie. Like, that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
um, but yeah, that's definitely another thing. Like, why? There's so many systems in place that are just like have question marks everywhere.
I
Yeah.
learned
And it does make adulting it's a big reason why adulting is so difficult. It's more difficult than it needs to be for sure, for sure.
I
Mhm.
learned that you can file taxes even if you don't make an income.
Can you?
If,
I was like,
well, if you're a student, you can still file taxes.
Oh,
oh well,
oh,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Because you
That was-
technically get that it like you get
Yeah, because
income by like returns and things like that.
the school gives you some. I don't know. I was
Yeah, they
like,
give you money
"Ah."
back sometimes. Yeah. Those are my
Yeah.
best refunds.
Like, ooh, money. Like, we got bond.
Literally. Um, but like to start like wrapping up though, and kind of like bringing it back, um, with adulting and the things that we've talked about to kind of like help with me and help with each other, but also help with our listeners. Are there any lessons that you have learned along the way that could be helpful to someone else? And then I can start first. I'd say my biggest lesson would be going with the flow. And I know it's just like, oh, we like, yeah, but like in reality, and like it's like, yeah, we get it, but truly like it all comes together at some point. No matter like a difficult day here, a difficult day there, like things do kind of like make a roundabout like solution at some point. It's just like going through the motions. And I say that because like last year that big transition of moving was rough for me, a new job that I was struggling with. And so that was really rough, but eventually it did do a turnaround. Like my current time here, like me now is way different from me last year because of like the things that I've had to go through within the past year and the ups and downs of it all. So that's something that I learned to just like go through the motions. It will pass, you know. That's my biggest one.
I kind of feel like, you know, when you were like a kid and you're like, oh, my parents know everything. And then
Um,
now that like I'm an adult, I'm like, they didn't know anything. They're just kind of trying to figure it out, just like how I am an adult now. And
mm-hmm,
I'm still trying to figure myself out. And so
mm-hmm,
I think it's just like everyone's trying to figure out. No one has everything that they, or no one knows everything. No
yeah,
one has everything figured out. It's just gotta work through it because everyone else is trying to work through it as well.
yeah, that's true.
That's true. I guess take care of yourself because I don't know, like your company is not gonna care if you fall sick, right? They're gonna be able to replace you
The
so easily, but
mm-hmm,
your friends and your family can't replace you that easily.
mm-hmm,
Or like you can't I don't know, like you're not very replaceable, but in the eyes of a corporation or a larger organization you are, which
mm-hmm.
like it shouldn't be, but it's true. So like if you're burning out, like maybe don't continue down that path because something will give and you don't want it to be like you just like I don't know. You don't want like big parts of your life to give out. That's
Yeah,
terrible. Like you gotta figure out a good balance and hopefully write it out.
I like that. That's currently where I'm at right now. Like it's so true though. Like you're the job, they'll find somebody else quicker than a
Yeah.
snicker. So like if you are burning out because of your job, like find a way to you are your first priority. You should be your first priority. Yeah, I like that. Is there anything that you wish you would have known before becoming an adult?
Mm.
For me, this is
Taxes,
taxes. Yeah, taxes.
taxes, and healthcare.
Oh, healthcare.
Yeah. Yeah. Oof, man. Yeah, I don't like that one. Healthcare specifically, like, because they will find any way to charge you for anything. I literally got a I needed to call my doctor about my like test results, right? And so I called her. I was like, "Hey, you never like my test results came back and you never like said anything." She was like, "Oh yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're fine. No issues." Call didn't last for more than 2 minutes. I get a bill in the mail like a week or two later for a 2-minute phone call.
Dead ass.
Yes, and I have refused to pay it. And then my grandma's like, she was like,
Oh,
"You can't do that." And I'm like, but no, that's ridiculous. So I've been trying to like also like be like I was working with like the medical people like
Mhm.
this no, I didn't get any information. It wasn't a telephone appointment. Like no, she can't charge me for that. That's crazy.
yeah, they'll charge you for anything, and it just like you don't have the information also to know what you would be charged for. Like it doesn't make
Mm-hmm.
sense, like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
any of it. you don't have the information to make decisions to where, oh, should I call this doctor now or I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to
Exactly.
me.
100%. But yeah, I agree with that one. I was gonna say like the healthcare system as well, like just knowing more about that, understanding it a bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neya, will you let us know?
Yeah, I'll let you guys know.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get you in, you know?
Get us in with the healthcare people.
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot about stuff that I've been doing that apparently should not be done. So that was great in terms of like healthcare. And I was
Okay.
like, oh, that makes sense.
Hmm.
Like that's not what I've been doing, but here I am.
Hmm.
Um, but also I just wish I knew how like different organizations worked, like insurance and
Yeah.
like car stuff. I wish I knew how car stuff worked. I guess it's not really an
Yeah.
adult, but like,
Car stuff like buying a car or like fixing a
you know,
car?
like fixing like what happens after you buy a car, like all the other stuff that comes with like maintaining a car.
Yeah, got it.
Oh, that's true.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're supposed to get it serviced, like change the oil
Like,
and the filters every 5,000 miles or 6 months.
hmm.
Like like what else am I supposed to be doing? I feel like this is a
That's
large
true.
machine.
Yeah. Like, how do when my battery dies, like, jump a car, like things like that.
How do
Yeah.
I replace my tire? Like
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good one.
put
Hmm.
chains on? I mean, that's pretty like easy, but if you don't know how to do it, it's difficult.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You said easy. I said, hmm. I'm just like,
Like compared to changing a tire, it's easier than that.
I believe it. I believe it. I just don't know how to do it.
Don't you worry.
And then my next question, is while adulting is hard, are there things that you do love about being in your like fresh like adult years? And I would say I like independence. I like the independence of it all. For me, I always knew like post college would be rough. I always said my perfect stop year, if that was a thing, would be like 21, like right there. Just like I'm like freshly in my 20s. Still in college, so I don't have to worry about all the other things. But because you still get the independence of adulthood, but not necessarily all the responsibilities just yet. But I do love the independence of it all and the exploration. Like while it is a struggle, I do love the journey, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like being old enough to make my own decisions. Doing whatever I want. Like I said, just making slightly unhinged plans and following through on them
Mhm.
is not something that I would have been able to do as like a child, right?
Mhm.
Like, hello, viewers.
Oh my
Neya's
gosh.
not a child.
I drove like I don't know, like like a couple months ago, I drove to New York for like 4 days, just
Mhm.
on a whim, like, and then I got to see KaVonna.
Mhm.
Like that's just what, like what? Like would not able to do that as a kid. So like being able to have that freedom and independence as an adult to just, but it's also like the consequences are your own. Like if
Yeah.
something bad happens, it's yours to deal with, which is the scary part.
Mhm. That's true.
Uh, I would agree with that too. Like me and Seema, we did like a spontaneous trip to Canada for like a 3-day weekend, which was nice. And we just decided like a few days earlier. We're just like, let's just go. And we're like,
I
okay.
love that.
Yeah. But another thing that I really enjoy as an adult is not being like a financial burden to my parents, because that was a big thing. Like, I'll say my family had a lot of financial struggles when I was a
Mhm.
kid, and like, I just felt like such a burden to them. But now that I'm like financially like more stable than I was as a teenager and things like that,
Mhm.
it's really rewarding to say like they don't need to pay for anything for me, and if they need help, I can help them.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
I like that. I can relate to that too. Nice. That's cool. And then my
So
last. Oh, sorry. Oh, I was like,
lifting in the gym, but also lifting spirits.
yeah. There you go. You're such a nerd. Um, are there any like quick words of wisdom that you have to like any up and coming adults, any current adults out there, anything that you think would be helpful to give them? I think my quick word of wisdom is even though it's pretty hilarious, is like you got it, dude. And in reality, like you do, like it is a struggle, but in reality, things do come and they get figured out and um yeah, it'll come together.
Yeah. Don't be so afraid of the future that you forget to live in the present. Do you like that one?
Oh, damn, that's a good
Oh,
one.
wow. She just outdid me there. That was great.
I
That
feel
was
like a
wonderful.
Hobby Lobby mom.
That was good though. That's so true though. I think about that a lot as well.
Uh, I would just say maybe just always be true to yourself. Put yourself first, even though it's hard. Things like that. Like,
Hmm.
make sure that the decisions you're making lead you to where you think you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that.
No, that makes sense because I
Yeah.
Like the wiser words of wisdom. I love it.
to like quickly talk about it though, someone I've seen something in regards to like think about like the daily tasks that you're doing, the things that you're doing every day, and are those things benefiting you towards your goals and the things that you want, or are they actually hurting you? Like, so that is something that's like important to that I don't know where if I find it, I'll send it out, but that was
Yeah.
something that has been mentioned before in different words. That's cool. Well, this has been a great conversation. It is my like topic that I've always wanted to talk about with other people because I feel like as we've talked about, like we tend to also just like think about these things on our own as introverts and like finding friends or also just like maybe talking to someone else, but not a whole bunch of people about it. So it was good to like just like pick your brains as well about this topic. Thank you so much to Crystal and Neya for sharing your thoughts and experiences with me today, with the viewers and the listeners today, more so listeners, not really viewers. Um, and then I hope you all as listeners appreciated this conversation. Please feel free to share your thoughts and your experiences about adulting. And then please share your wisdom if you've found something significant that has made an impact for you. Feel free to drop your thoughts in the Q&A section. And if you like this episode, share it with a friend to get notified with new episode drops. Don't forget to follow this podcast. And then you can follow me at KaVonna on Instagram to stay updated as well. And then go ahead and look at that episode description to follow Neya and Crystal to stay updated on what they're doing. And that has been the Introvert Social Hour podcast. Make sure you get some sunshine. Have an amazing week. And we will see you next week on the Introvert Social Hour. Thanks for joining. Bye.